Loves. Welcome into this Taurus new moon reading. This reading is for you if you have Leo rising and or if 28 degrees 26 minutes of Taurus shows up in your 10th house. Welcome in. If you have not already watched the introduction to this reading and you want to learn more about what we're doing here, it's linked in the description and popping up on YouTube. So the houses in the zodiac story represent where things happen in our lives. So the new moon in Taurus is happening for you in this area of your life, represented by the 10th house, which is the house of ambition. It's ruled by the 10th sign of the zodiac, Capricorn, and deals with the areas of our life that involve reputation, society, power, career, and influence. So this reading is going to be related to this area of your life, and this moon phase is going to be pinging, is going to be activating, is going to be focusing you in this area of your life as well. Now, this reading is twofold. As I explained in the introduction, we're going to do one reading that's based on getting you to tap into what's coming up for you inside of you in relationship to the guidance that's coming through. I always talk about this in my readings that I'm inviting you into this, but the Taurus new moon really wanted a more physical practice with this, with your own interpretation of the readings. And so the first readings with the karma cards, I'm not going to offer any interpretation at all. It's going to be all you. All up to you to relate it to the 10th house, to relate it to what's going on in your life, and to understand which messages, if not all of them, are speaking to you at this time and giving you guidance and advice. Then we're going to move on to the Angel Therapy deck, which is going to be a review of the card that came through for the new moon in Aries phase. And now we're going to be applying it to the area of the 10th house and still relating it to the human condition content. If you're not familiar with what the human condition is or what the content is that I'm talking about, you do want to go watch that introduction before you watch that part of the reading. Let's talk about the karma cards. Here they are. Here's the card for the moon and the card for Taurus. And then we're going to read the card for in the 10th house as well. And so it's going to form a sentence that goes across the top. The first sentence is a spiritual message. Second sentence is a message for your mind. And the last message is a physical message. So you read it across like this. Defend your beliefs. And then ... Accept the costs of ... And then let your feelings tell you how to use the most direct way and ... So again, one or more of these messages will resonate with you, and you're being guided to journal, to write down what is coming up for you as you listen to these sentences and relate them to your life and relate them to this area of your life in particular. So I invite you to grab a journal. I invite you to close your eyes, and I invite you to open your heart to receive the guidance that's most aligned for you at this time. Remember, you're listening for feelings in your body. You're paying attention to what images or what thoughts you have in your head, any sensations or emotions that you experience in response to these sentences as we read them. You can call in any beings that you want to be here with you to support you in this interpretation. I just ask that they be here in unconditional love and in alignment with your highest good and the highest good of all. And if you're not ready yet, pause the video because we're going to dive in. Your spiritual message is to defend your beliefs responsibly. Pause and journal if that resonates with you. Why does it resonate with you? What does it bring up for you? What do you think it's guiding you to do? Where is it talking about in your lives? Mental message. Accept the costs of success. Pause and journal. What is that bringing up for you? And the physical message is let your feelings tell you how to use the most direct way and become a person of power and status. Hello. Pause and journal on that one if that resonated with you. I'm going to leave this here. This is all we're going to do with these. We're going to move on. So pause the video if you need more time with them, okay? Okay. Now we're going to review the Angel Therapy card that we got. Shield yourself. There's a great meditation that I offered in, I think, the first one, New Moon in Aries Act 1. I think it was the first one. You can go back and review that if you want to access that guided meditation. It was really, really supportive. So now we're going to relate this to your house of career, your house of ambition. Shielding yourself from harsh or fear-based energies by envisioning a cocoon of healing light surrounding you. And also understanding that as you begin to understand and integrate the human condition content provided by Jeremy Griffith, the understanding of what the human condition is, about what the human origin is, and where we're going as a species, as a collective, and really championing this understanding and bringing it into your life and using your power, your reputation, your career to share this information. There's going to be a need for you to stay in your light, to stay in your truth, to allow any dissonance that might come up from sharing this information to bounce off of you. So there's something called the deaf effect with this information, and some people cannot hear this information because in the past it's been so confronting for them to ask the question, why is the world so competitive, aggressive, angry, and alienated? Why am I so competitive, angry, alienated, and aggressive? It's been so confronting to try to answer these questions that it's led people to places that they didn't want to go into, that they didn't think they could get out of. So they've built up defense mechanisms to avoid going to the place of where this question exists within them. And you have to go to this place in order to understand that the answer's been provided. Okay, this content, this information provides an answer, but you have to first go to that question again and pick it back up and look at it. And so some people are activating their defense mechanisms against hearing this information because it's so confronting, because they've developed a defense mechanism against going there, because it's in the past been too dangerous, because without this understanding, without this explanation, it's just depressing and it leads you into places that you may not come out of. And that's the truth. And we don't have to go on the attack for people who may be sending that energy towards us because their defense mechanism got triggered, right? We just shield ourselves from that. We just say, okay, I'm just holding a bubble of love and light. I know I'm in my truth. I know I understand this information. I know the truth of it. I feel a resonance of it in my body. And I have compassion for people who aren't quite able to go there because of the pain that it's caused them in the past, and because their body, their minds are trying to protect them from what it's determined to be a terminal threat. And the guidance here is to use your career, use your reputation, use your influence to really share this information, share this content, to bring this into, why are you here? What are you motivated by? This is the house of ambition. What motivates you about this information, about the belief, the reality, no, not even the belief, the understanding that the instinctual nature of you and everyone in the human family is to be loving, is to be cooperative, is to give selflessly. And everything else has been a response, a trauma response to the fact that that's not the world we encountered. How are you now being invited to act? What do you want to accomplish now that you know this truth? How do you want to act cooperatively? How do you want to selflessly give? How do you want to use your resources, your reputation, your power, your influence to act cooperatively, collaboratively, selflessly giving? What does that mean for you? And to set your sights on it. The 10th house is ruled by Capricorn, 10th sign of the zodiac, and it's this sign that takes one step at a time and climbs the mountain. It's like aiming for the peak The pinnacle. What's your peak? What's your pinnacle? Now that you know that this is the natural orientation of the human species, and that we're all dealing with a psychosis, a soul illness, and a neurosis, a mental illness that has developed because we haven't encountered this world. Now that we have understood this, we can alleviate the psychosis and neurosis, and we can create a container for our children to be raised in an environment that is free of psychosis and neurosis and allows them to experience the upbringing and the world that they instinctively expect coming into this experience and journey with the beautiful innocence that children bring into our world. What do you want to do now? What's your ambitions now? And shield yourself along the way, because there's some harsh and maybe fear-based energies coming at you because of trigger responses of other people, maybe even your own trigger responses. Okay, you might also be dealing with fear-based energy within yourself about whether or not you could use your power and your influence and your ambition to go after this thing. Are you afraid of that? I've been noticing for myself, I'm terrified of things going well. I'm terrified of thinking that everything could be okay. Like, I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of that mostly because I'm afraid that other people are going to attack me for believing in a world where everything could be okay. But there's also a part of me that's afraid to believe it, afraid to trust it, afraid that it's too good to be true. So this could be a way that a fear-based energy is showing up for you, or any other way that it could be showing up for you. So you might need to be shielding yourself against your own defense mechanisms and fear-based energies that are being triggered. They're being invited to come up to be released and let go of. And you may need to recognize that you yourself are caught in a little bit of fear around this content, around this material, and you need to clear that in order for you to move forward in an empowered way. I don't have much more for you, my beautiful Leo risings, 10th house Leos. I love you. Thank you for being here. Let me know how this resonates. Let me know if you have questions. Thank you for using your power and your influence to act cooperatively, selflessly giving, and thank you for showing how it's done to the rest of the world, because we're all going to be shifting into this way of being with each other, this is going to be the new ambition. Instead of power, fortune, fame, and glory, right? It's going to be collaboration, cooperation, and altruism. I can come up with better words, but it's going to be a united ambition, an ambition for the uniting of our species and the relief of suffering for everyone. And that's beautiful. And the more people we have actually activating their power, their influence, using their reputation, and using their connection to society, their resources to act out the truth of this, to act on their instinctual nature and what their instincts are guiding them, urging them to do. As you start to do that, other people are going to be learning from you in a big, big way, especially as Leo risings. Y'all are the star of the zodiac. Okay, Leo is the star of the zodiac, and that's how other people see you. That's how you appear to others. So you are right where you need to be on the stage, on the public stage of being seen. And again, that's another reason to shield yourself, because when you put yourself in the limelight, you know, there's things that come with that. But also just visualize that healing light around you, and just sending that healing light around anyone who may be creating that fear-based harsh energy towards you, even yourself. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know how this resonates. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.